I went to Arizona State.
Right.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake, and Funnel will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great flag.
That's away. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
From behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get it. Wow. Edwards pulls up and buries the flag. Shot for Darby!
There we go. Go Devils!
Until then, please have a safe drive home and goodbye.
Let's go!
There we are. Sorry about that. Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch Hall. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00, our Taco Tuesday edition, the weekly Taco Tuesday edition of Pitchfork Lunch. And yes, a lot going on, as you saw there. The first, probably should have did that last, but the atmosphere, that was obviously after the BYU game. They didn't let ASU fans rush the field in Tucson. I kid because I care. I laugh. But nonetheless, welcome in to Tuesday's edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, you see I'm Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. You guys know this. Check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1. Also, my IG, michael.caratino.5. And yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, I know I remind you every day, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Any interviews you've missed, any sound you miss, anything you have missed, the phenomenal shows you have missed, it is all there on my YouTube. So you can go to YouTube, obviously, and then it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Again, you can get all caught up, and again, you've missed some awesome interviews. Again, whether it be football, volleyball, basketball, soccer, so far this year, insiders, voices, all that good stuff, all there on the YouTube channel. So again, it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, and go and subscribe there. But plus now, you can also listen to Pitchfork Lunch live on the Casual Sports Radio Network. Go to www.ksrnaz.com. And boom, page opens up. Go to click listen live, hit play, bam, there's Pitchfork Lunch every day, Monday through Friday. So again, my Sun Devil Nation peeps, championship vibes, electricity, everything here in Tempe. It's always a good time to be a Sun Devil, but right now it is a phenomenal time to be a Sun Devil and come be part of the tradition. So, but you can get all that on the Casual Sports Radio Network. Again, you'll go to www.ksrnaz.com. Boom, go to listen live, hit play. There's Pitchfork Lunch. Also, great coverage there. I mean, Casual E's got you covered when it comes to the Cardinals. Again, I know a tough 1-point loss on Sunday to Minnesota. Man, and then I got division opponent Seattle coming up this week, but Casual E's got you covered with comprehensive Cardinals coverage there. Suns, Diamondbacks, Mercury. And yes, now we at Pitchfork Lunch are a part of that. So again, get all your comprehensive coverage there. And for those of you listening on KSR, and again, I want you to watch, but don't drive and watch, obviously. Like I always say, you're smarter than that. You're Sun Devil fans. You know that. But you can listen in your car, like I said, go to ksrnaz.com. Stream through the Bluetooth, you get to lunch. You guys can watch, you can listen. Either way, absolutely awesome. But for those listening on KSRN, I'll describe it. Showed a picture. Man, got to give a shout out to my boy Jay Russell. You might know him as Meat, but Jay Russell, man, phenomenal talent. Right there after the storming of the field against BYU, but electricity, soccer, all those fall sports help set the tone. Women's soccer helps set the tone. So, that is again absolutely awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And it's what Jay did there, but I mean, that's the electricity. Like I said, volleyball, Big 12 champs, first year in pick to finish serve. We will hear from JJ Van Niel. Don't worry about that. We will hear from JJ Van Niel. And then also we'll head out to football, talk to Shimon Mateer. Again, phenomenal season this young man has had. Again, getting on the same page with Sam Levitt, but as a tight end, you heard, and Coach Dillingham, I mean, Coach Vaughn's, Coach talking about, I mean, tight ends again, what Scadaby's doing, block, and then bam. And we'll hear from Coach Dillingham from yesterday as well, too. So, but yeah, just getting ready, first practice of the day, playing meaningful, practicing this week, which again, if they were going to a bowl game, not that they wouldn't be practicing, but which they are going to a bowl game, but if they weren't at the championship game, saying so. Great vibe out there today at practice. Got to talk to Jacob Rich Kongaika's mother, who's Mama Kongaika, who's out there, which is awesome. Love catching up with her, but yeah, watching her son, and she's stoked to be headed out to Arlington for the championship game. I'm looking forward to it as well too. So let's go, Pitchfork Lunchers. And then obviously Friday and Saturday, volleyball. They have New Hampshire first, and then they would take on, I think, A&M or Colorado State after that. I was looking at the brackets, getting going crazy, but we'll get to all that. But yeah, Friday and Saturday here at Desert Financial, well, here on campus, Desert Financial Arena. You get what I'm saying. So stoked for that. And look, the season they've had, absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, to say the least. So, I mean, it's yeah, gotta love it because it literally is just electric around here. And getting to go to Arlington for the championship game, first two rounds of the women's volleyball NCAA tournament right here. So yes, man, so stoked for that. Yeah, and basketball, men's hoops, 7-1 men's hoops, guys, home tonight. So, get your butt outs to Desert Financial Arena. As Coach Hurley in his 7-1 Sun Devils, 3-0 at home, 0-1 away, 4-0 on neutral sites. I mean, again, they're only lost to Gonzaga. Guys on the road, and again, they were right there in it. You want to be considered in that upper echelon teams, and you have to win those games. But they were no means out of it. Tied at halftime, and then again, just got outscored by 8 in the second half. But to a good team, they played well. Again, some things to clean up, but man, turn around, then you beat Grand Canyon, you beat St. Thomas, you beat Cal Poly, you beat New Mexico in the Acrisure Classic to go to the championship game, take on a physical, just powering St. Mary's team. I know I mentioned a little bit about it before they who they could play, because it was either going to be St. Mary's or USC. But nonetheless, 68-64, they get the win. And yeah, they've won 5 in a row, and they have USD, the Toreros, coming here tonight, 7 p.m. And it's, going to be on ESPN Plus. Check it out there, but might as well. Why don't you come down here? Say hi to me when you're out here, I mean, but yeah, this team early on, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But they have done one hell of a job. So yes, that is looking forward to that tonight as well. And then like I said, with football and volleyball, man, it's so exciting. And again, still the bliss of, yes, 360 363 more days of bragging rights and rubbing it in to that team down south, because ASU trounced them. And yeah, I mean, this guy, Cam Scadaboo, which talked about yesterday, Look at that, taking a direct snap for those watching on. They're listening on KSR. Both yards out. First quarter 7. If not today, but for the last week. Took the snap over the right side, and that was that, my pitchfork lunchers. So, yeah, always great to beat that team down south in an emphatic, dominating fashion. So that's why I say it is. And the sweep that volleyball had during the season, obviously only losing one conference game to Baylor, but winning the Big 12, but sweeping that team down south. I mean, just huge territorial cup points. Football beats them. Trophy comes back. You saw it there. For those watching, this is when you hear on top of the show, let's go. That was – yeah, here it is. I'll pop it up again for those watching because it's always beautiful to see, right? And those listening, all this. Scatterboard. He has the cup to go in front. Let's go! And the guys falls into the locker and racing the cup up in front of the tank. Sitting down under the field, and always love seeing the cup. And again, absolutely awesome. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, again, we'll hear from Coach Van Niel. We'll hear from Coach Van Niel because again, exciting. They're taking on New Hampshire, and we will hear from Coach Van Niel. So we'll step aside real quick and be back right after this.
Audio Jungle. Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority. Got a big painting project you've been...
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org. This is the sound of a racing heart.
KSRN has an inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use it.
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean McCollum.
Bird gang. I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending the message out to the world.
Always relay that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Yes, those of you listening on the Casual Sports Radio Network are listening to the greatest internet radio station out there. The Casual Sports Radio Network, www.ksrnaz.com. And again, you can listen live. You're driving around for work. Hey, get caught up in Sun Devil Nation again, because you're about to miss out. Those watching live, let your friends know. Share with them. But the reigning, while he was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year in his first season as head coach here at ASU, coached at USC, also at Utah as well. So, again, has done a phenomenal job. I mean, Sweet 16 last year, beat ranked teams last year. This year, fast forward, yes, you lose some players, but you bring in some awesome transfers, and the team just meshes. We'll hear from them. But, man, head coach J.J. Van Niel has done a phenomenal job. And, yeah, I mean, not just because they only lost one match in the Big 12, but could be Big 12 Coach of the Year. So we shall see. But, yes, so without further ado, though, let's get Coach Van Niel in here. But, yeah, caught up with him yesterday after practice, and was a little bit late. So, again, big shout out for Coach Van Niel seeing me and say, yeah, we could talk for a few minutes again. I'm like, your prep, you guys know me. Obviously, me with coaches talking, they finished practice, but doing more prep, I'm like, hey, being a Sun Devil, yeah, covering them, but being an alum, your prep's more important. But yeah, I see, took a few minutes, so want to bring that to you because again, absolute forks up to this program. But Coach Van Niel turning it around, and first ever conference championship. I know I said that on yesterday, but Friday when I was doing the show, I had talked about they're going to be playing for their first ever conference. They could, it was the first ever conference championship. So that's insane. But anyway, without further ado, I'm not going to babble on. Let's hear from Coach Van Niel when I sat down with him yesterday, just after they wrapped up practice as they get set to host.
All right, Coach. So I was teasing around with Graham Rossini last week, saying when I interviewed him that once you guys earned a quote unquote share of the Big 12 championship, my show, the Pitchfork Lunch Show. You were the first to be on it. I'm grateful for that. But I was like, they're outright champs. I don't believe in ties. They're outright champs. But on Friday, to obviously play in front of big crowds that you've talked about all year, but to get that trophy in your hand, I mean, your second year here after a phenomenal year this year, now that you've kind of had a little bit of time to digest it, what was that feeling like?
I think it's really special, not selfishly, but more for the team and the program. And I don't know, I saw a clip and I handed the trophy off real quick. So maybe I should have held a little longer. Looked like a hot potato, and Presley made fun of me for that. But you know, these are team awards, and I think they're really special. You know, I don't think anyone looked at our group and said, "Oh, this is someone who's going to win a Big 12 title." And our players, you know, from day one said this is going to be a goal of ours. And I think to finally accomplish that, and especially to be able to celebrate it in front of, I mean, on a Black Friday of Thanksgiving week, you know, 4,500 people. That was, I mean, incredible. I mean, thank you so much to the fans. Like, it just, you guys have no idea how much it means to us to play in front of those big crowds. It was really, really special.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it starts last year, and let's get to that, because you come in, and I mean, you said even early on, like, that the talent was here. Like, you felt knowing of the program, but the talent was here. But when you fast forward to this year, like you said, to win the Big 12, you guys were shown, obviously, and I know how you are about getting ready for games, but picked to finish third. I mean, first year in a new conference, and I think it was Claire that said something like, "Okay, well, third," but our mind was we're winning the conference. But when you're picked to finish third and have that much respect, and I know you said you've had a very focused team, but is it almost kind of hard not to, maybe even for you and the coaches, to be like, "Oh, okay, well, we have respect." Not that you're not going to work hard, but you're kind of like, I guess the players are maybe a little more, okay, comfortable coming into a new conference, but because, I mean, in that respect, which again, off of last year, was earned.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always special when your coaching peers, you know, kind of recognizing some of the good things you're doing, and coming into a new conference. You know, obviously, they saw that we were kind of doing some good things, and I thought we got some, you know, nice pieces in the portal that really filled some needs that we had. So I'm sure they saw that. I mean, yeah, the preseason bowls are always tough, just because there's such a inherent hindsight bias to like what just happened versus really digging in. I think nowadays it's going to be even tougher when you're looking at, you know, preseason stuff, right, with just transfers, and there's so many unknowns. But yeah, I thought it was a testament to kind of the team and all the things they've been doing and the hard work they've put in, that our peers, you know, said, "Hey, this team looks like they're, you know, right around third." And
to start that, though, I mean, like, again, you guys have, like you said, some of the trips come in spring, but getting to have that trip to Brazil, I talked to Roberta, going back to obviously her home country, and it was awesome. And I was teasing her a little bit. I'm like, did you have to give Argentina a nickname? Because I know Argentina and Brazil to this day, like, but no, she laughed about it. But that trip to Brazil, I mean, yes, it was about playing volleyball, and I know maybe the competition wasn't maybe all of what you were going to see, but just to get the team together and go to Brazil and do that, obviously, I mean, it was a great bonding trip, but how do you feel that it turned out, and how important was that, do you think, to the team's success this year?
You know, you get some extra training, which I think is obviously important, especially for someone like Sav, who was coming in and really in kind of a completely new system and environment, with a new setter. So that piece was, I think, a big deal. But at the end of the day, what those trips are really about is your team and building the connectedness. And as I've been saying, and I feel like some corny, like John Cusack movie or something, like, I just want to scream from rooftops like how much I love this team and how special this group is. And you know, I think anyone that's around them feels it, and it's just a special group. And I think when you go on these trips, like we go on that Brazil trip, and you have like KP, Kyla, who's a freshman, and Piper gets out there, and you know, Arj now gets different time with the team. Not that she didn't have it in the spring, but Savannah, who, again, we, you know, felt like was going to come in and have to carry a heavy role, which she has done, and she's done a good job of that. You know, the more of that connected as you build, I think the more special your chemistry is, the more connected your team is. And yeah, we got a special group, that's for sure.
And you've talked about that throughout the season. I mean, and I've played it on the show, and I kid around. I'm like, he always says this, but it's true. I mean, the seniors you have, the leaders. I mean, even just talking to Mary and Jelly and Claire the other night, but they said it, they reiterated, and a lot of others have said it. But like you mentioned, like Piper and the freshmen, the young players coming in, and every coach, and I know they become cliches because they're true, but like games should be easier than practice if you're at a top level. And all three of them said the other night, like, those players have pushed us. Like, our practices sometimes are harder than our games. Like, and in building the culture, how have those leaders, those like the seniors and even the upperclassmen, just help build that? And it's because you say like wide eye too. It's always tough, I think, for freshmen coming in. Like, you have success. Like, again, they know they need to work, but they're like, oh well, it's like, okay, you weren't a part of that team, but you're going to work. But with those leaders mixing with the younger players and the freshmen, how do you feel the freshmen have grown from being around the seniors?
I think there's a few things. The most notably is sort of understanding standards, which of course we're always trying to set. But I think when the leaders are doing it, that's way more powerful than any coach doing it. You got to have those guys. I mean, you've probably watched a few practices, and Mary Schroll doesn't take a rep off ever. I mean, her body gets pretty beaten up because she just goes and goes and goes, and so do the rest of them. Claire is working her butt off every practice, and Shania and Joe. All these guys. And so I think when you have the standard, leaders lead by example, not by talk. Talk is cheap. And so I think one is they've seen that. They've seen the connectedness. They've seen the fact that the old kids, like someone like Claire, pours into a freshman, and that's not necessarily true at all programs. Right. And I think it's when you have these huge age gaps, which inevitably happens in college with a young freshman and an old senior. You could have 5 years difference. So I think to see that, like, hey, everyone kind of hangs and supports and is there for everyone. It's not just only the freshman or only the freshman sophomore. That's another example of kind of behaviors that we want. And then I think one of the cool things that our leaders do is, they're out there pumping up the game changer side. We call them game changers because when they come in, they change the game. And I feel like, my leadership group will be on me if they think I'm not spending enough time, with the other side. And it's special when you have a group that you're comfortable enough listening to, and talking to about it. But I think it's also special that they're like willing to, because at the end of the day, I'm the boss man, as Mary Schroll will sometimes call me. But they're willing to kind of tell me and say, hey, I think you got to do this, or can you help this? And they're always pumping up, those guys. And again, I think these are just behaviors and standards that we're setting that will hopefully continue to perpetuate in our culture.
Well, with the standards, I do have to say, because I talk about it on the show, and like you say, from the analytics side, I always, and even my time cover, I geek out about the aces. This year you guys have won over 6 sets, so 2 matches on aces alone, and people will message me and say, yeah, but if they just won 2 matches, I go, guys, if you're getting that many aces and winning on that alone, you're going to be really good. And I know you talk about, everything they work on in practice, putting the pressure on the serve. But I fast forward to, I do have to ask you this. How was Jelly's Halloween imitation of you? Because some of the players told me that she got the mannerisms down pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, my wife said it too. Jelly hit the nail on the head on that one. And we got a couple good pictures together of it. So yeah, that was funny.
Okay, I do know it's one game at a time, and I'll end on this. And again, thank you so much for doing this. What and you say, and it is true in all sports, because having played or coached, whatever, it has to be the next game. But yesterday, the selection show, you see your side of the bracket, the teams that are there, you're third, you're hosting, and you got to prepare for who's in front of you. But when you first see it go up yesterday, just kind of your thought of your side of the bracket. Nebraska's back there. I see Wisconsin's there. You're the 3 seed.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely haven't looked as far as the Nebraska. I haven't even thought of the Nebraska side of it. So I couldn't tell you who Nebraska plays. I couldn't tell you who Wisconsin plays. I know our 4 teams. Immediately you're just like, okay, we got to get ready for New Hampshire. So working on that right away. And then we need coaches to get started going on A&M and Colorado State, which are both good, strong teams. I think it's never, I don't know, I feel like it's maybe superstition by my part. I don't want to look ahead at all. So for me, it's, how do we beat our first match? Like, what are things we need? What are the keys there? And then what are the things, hopefully the similarities between the other 2 teams that you can maybe get a little bit of prep work in ahead of time or thinking about, and then it's a fast turnaround. So I wish they would add one more day in between, but the first round is what it is. So.
Right. It's so funny. I was just about to ask you that because last year I know it was the same thing when you're up in Provo. I get calendars, but again, I'm with you. I don't get the big deal of one day and then the next match. Well, yeah, exactly. Coach, obviously, I know a lot more to be done. It was so awesome to see the first Big 12 trophy in ASU history Friday night. Thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you.
There he is, head coach JJ Van Niel. Again, so appreciative. Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach. Thank you. And they're practicing today. But again, I told you when I started the show, I want to bring it to you and, building relationships, covering teams. But, you just get that from him, the calmness. Like, as a coach, you want to get calm. And, you want to see a coach being calm. And, there are times like, whether you're in an arena, a stadium, wherever, a ballpark, like if, the crowd gets it, like, you're focused. But you hear, players, will say, like, hey, you're focused on what you're doing. But you just kind of hear that noise, that energy that just kind of, if you're the home team, and they're, you're just, you think of football, you're on defense, or it's volleyball for Coach Van Niel and other teams serving. He's talked about that, like just the 942 crew again showing out and just, being as playfully annoying as possible as they can be, which is again absolutely awesome. But forks up to you, Coach Van Niel and the Devils. Yes, absolute forks up. We love it. Big 12 champs, first trophy, looking to bring another one in the fall this Saturday. So we're going to take a real quick break, a lot to digest there. But again, I had to ask him, Coach, about the trip to Brazil because, I talked to him in the beginning of the season about it. But again, just you see it, playing the teams, and, may have not been the same type of competition that you see, but just getting the work in and then getting like spending time, bonding time, and you see how this team works, but see how they care. So that to me, again, Coach Van Niel's and not 2 years. And they were 29 and their record 29-2 this season, losses to 5th ranked Nebraska at the time, and then to 19th ranked Baylor at the time in Waco after opening up Big 12 play into the state of Texas, but TCU. And then they took out TCU at 3 and then fell to Baylor in 4. So again, but have won 17 in a row after that. Yeah, 17 in a row. New Hampshire is here on Friday, 6:30 p.m. Desert Financial Arena, y'all. Yes, it'll be on ESPN Plus, but get out here. Like Coach said, 4,500 people on a Black Friday. Like you said, Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving weekend. Phenomenal atmosphere. So get on out here. And we talked about last week, we had Graham Rossini on. That season ticket holders got a ticket to free ticket to the volleyball game. He said there was like 300, I think he said 350 tickets you saw me. We were talking down in Tucson. So phenomenal, man. Way to show out for volleyball, Sun Devil Nation. But yes, forks up to that. So we'll take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll go out to football practice and hear from Leaf Fontanu and Shimon Mateer right after this on Pitchfork Lunch.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
KSRN has the inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use. Are you good?
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean McConnell.
Bird gang, I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending the message out to the world.
Always laying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Yes, you guys listen on KSRN are listening to the greatest internet radio station on the web. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artificially known as the Twitter. Also my IG, michael.caratino.5. You can check out the show there. And the YouTube channel, guys, like I always tell you, if you just missed that sit-down interview I had with Coach Van Niel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe away. You can go back. You can check that out. And again, all the interviews I've had. So again, absolutely awesome. Working on more for, well, next week, definitely. And we'll see what we get this week as well, too. But nonetheless, like I told you before the break, let's get out to football practice and hear from Sun Devils center Leif Fontana, who again transferred here last year. Pretty much played the whole season banged up. Was one of the few that played in all the games. But Coach Arroyo comes in. He worked with Coach Arroyo before. And, I mean, you have a redshirt freshman quarterback, Sam Levitt, the growth he's taken. We've heard, I mean, Coach Dillingham said it multiple times, guys, right? A Sunday quarterback. Seen him out at practice, the way they work every day, not a surprise. Not a surprise. Well, not a surprise that he's able to do this. But, again, preseason probably wouldn't have thought, okay, he can be good. He's around Coach Dillingham, Coach Arroyo, what they want to do. And it's just, man, it has been a beautiful thing. But all hail to the offensive line because Fontana is center. Again, making sure Sam's comfortable. Obviously, Sam confidence, believes in himself, but, you know, knowing what Coach Arroyo wants to get done. And, again, working on that since the spring because Sam Levitt was here in the spring. And, you know, then you go through the summer, fall camp, into the season. And, I mean, bam, this young man absolutely crushing it. But this offensive line, I mean, you know, Max Ionichor, Kyle Scott, Lee Fontana, Ben Coleman, and then Bully, Josh Atkins too as well. It's just been, and then you throw the tight ends in there too, but phenomenal. But without further ado, let's hear from Leaf because again, big win and now getting ready for a big game against Iowa State.
Now you're playing in these big games. Do those meetings and the leadership council change at all? Is the vibe different?
No, it's all the same. You know, I mean, we got here by doing what we do, and what we do is we win. So all the little things that we do week by week, we don't want to change because it works. You know what I mean? If it didn't work, then we would have to change. But for the most part, we keep our routine the same. We keep our process the same. And ultimately, we try to figure out those little details that help us win.
And one final question. If there was one thing you would attribute this turnaround to be, because you've been here since last year, and year 2 of Kenny Dillingham, what would that be?
I would say, it's been a long road. And, a lot of people don't understand what goes on in the offseason and what goes behind closed doors and stuff like that. But the turnaround and the vision that Kenny has is just second to none. He's an awesome coach. He appreciates you for who you are, not just as a football player, but as a person, and it's hard to come by with that nowadays, but Kenny's an awesome example of a leader, and I feel like that's kind of what the Pat Tillman Leadership Council is trying to emulate, trying to be a good person, make good decisions, and try to be a leader on and off the field.
Great. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yep.
Man, I'm in Arizona.
Nice to meet you.
Just doing somewhat of you guys, the team. I wanted to ask you first about Scott. Sam just gave me 5 words to describe it. They were all great.
Yeah.
Dog, crazy, smart. Give me a few words to describe that guy.
Passionate, emotional sometimes, but
a lot of times.
Relentless. I think he's consistent as well. Scat is an awesome player. I mean, he's one of the best backs I've been around. So him being back there, knowing that I'm blocking for him, is an awesome experience because you can miss your block, but still, he'll make you miss and make you right. So that's
how does he do that stuff? I know he's a bulldog. But
yeah.
Some guys, you're gonna get. He just seems to pull away, fight, face, stiff arm. Whatever.
Yeah. I think it's more goes to his preparation. I think he's a really hard worker. He cares. The care factor that he has on this team and the impact that he has on his team is just crazy. Because people feed off of his emotions. People feed off of his grit. So we try to be like him. Try to help him up. Try to help him when we can. But Scat is definitely a great example of what an Arizona State Sun Devil should be.
Last question about that. I mean, it sounds to me when you started describing him, you were describing the team. Because that's kind of how you guys play as a unit, as a family, as Kenny likes to say, I guess, right? Because he said you guys were like a collection of outsiders or misfits, but you know what I'm saying? It's transfer bullshit. You come in and you just merge together, and it seems like you're taking on a crazy personality. It sounds like Scat.
Yeah, which is crazy because I have my story of being a misfit or quote unquote misfit and not fitting in at my other school and not being looked at. But at the same time, there's a lot of other dudes that have their own story, and I feel like that's kind of what Coach Dilly was trying to bring with this team. To bring dudes that have a chip on their shoulder and don't really care about the glitz and the glamour, but they care about the work.
Question in the back. So being the leader of the Polynesian Pipeline, how do you feel, sir?
We can't do Polynesian Pipeline only because it's like a can't do that. But I don't know what the Polynesian Pipeline is. But bringing Polys over here is awesome, bro.
Okay.
Can you flip the camera? It's him too. Yeah. Thank you.
Coming off, obviously, a rivalry game, like you had just mentioned, everybody's, what happened last year.
Yep.
You were a stalwart. I mean, the offensive line, the issues, but it culminating into that 10th win, especially getting it against Arizona as you're going off the cup. What are the emotions now that you've had kind of a second to breathe it in? I know getting ready for Iowa State, but to breathe it in, what did that mean to you?
It's awesome. It's an awesome opportunity, especially to do something that's never been done before, in a long time here. And to being a part of this team, being in the moment is awesome because it helps us to launch us and propel us forward and take the next step forward into this next week's game.
And what is it about? I mean, obviously, your new coach Arroyo, but even obviously working with Coach Saga. What in this second year? I mean, and we know, knock on wood, the health's been a big thing. But how do you feel that your unit in general has just grown?
I think it goes back to our preparation. I think Ben and I and Emmett and Cade took a big ownership in the offseason to, we'll do extra, we'll watch extra film, we'll do extra drills, we'll recover together, we'll go in the ice tubs, hot tubs together, and that kind of is helping us now. We're a unit and we do everything as a unit. Recover, we eat together. A lot of the time we have our own table at the facility, but at the same time, it carries over. A lot of people think that it doesn't, but it really does, only because when things get hard on the field, we're able to trust each other to make the right decisions and make the right calls and stuff like that. So it goes back to our preparation from January.
And speaking of preparation, I mean, I know it's early, but when you look at this Iowa State defense, without giving away trade secrets, obviously, but what challenges do they present?
They're a really good front seven. I think they're a good. They have a really good back end. You know, actually, really from top down, they're a really good team, and their front three are really good. You know, they're heavy and they're stout. Usually in these fronts, like Kansas State, they have like those 6'7" ends, like 280 around that area. But with this front, it's like 300 across the board. You know, which is going to be a big challenge for us. But at the same time, we just got to continue to do our job.
And continue to do the job. That's how we're gonna leave it today. Leaf Fontana again, the center there, and like I said, he played last year, and I mean, battled through it. But I mean, you look how this line has developed, and with Coach Saga Tuitele, he just done a phenomenal job. And the depth this year, we've seen it. You saw it against Arizona. I mean, you saw it all year, even running the ball, playing the amount of close games they won this year. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, but a lot to digest there. Pitchfork Lunchers on your Taco Tuesday of Leaf right there. And what Coach Van Niel said, if you missed any of it, again, at Diablo00 on X, ours formerly known as Twitter, is where you can find me. Also, my IG, michael.caratoon.5. The YouTube channel, again, subscribe to it. You can go back and watch the shows, binge watch, get all caught up, because we're into the second season and we have done a lot. So, but yeah, it's at go to YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube. Subscribe away. And the Casual Sports Radio Network. Again, do not forget, go to www.ksrnaz.com. So I will. We're gonna get out of here. Again, everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow for Mike. What day is it? Hump day. Woo! That's for my mama. Haven't done it in a minute. She was giving me a hard time. So. Nonetheless, but I will see you tomorrow. And yes, you guys know it. Hashtag our state. And as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Lane Baker. Funnel will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great play. That's a way.
Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored!
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get it! Wow!
Edwards pulls off.